I think that if someone wants to improve, the first step is to recognise their own imperfections. I think we grossly overestimate our abilities, and until we realise how little control we have over our decisions and our lives, we won't be able to improve much as a species. We are conscious beings in animal bodies, and I think we very often like to forget that. Let's take some examples of situations where we think we have absolute control and ask ourselves honestly whether or not this is actually true. How often do you stop and ask yourself before making an important decision, is my blood sugar level too low or too high? Did I sleep well last night? No? Why not? If you have spent 6 hours in bed but actually slept only 4 of those, your cognitive functions would most likely be equal to someone with a blood alcohol level of 0.05%, at which point you won't be allowed to drive your car. Now add to that the fact that you are having a sugar crash after a rich meal, and you can make decisions that would leave you asking yourself later, what was I thinking? How many other factors are also at play, of which we are completely unaware? Hormone imbalances, lack of important nutrients, undiagnosed conditions like changes in our blood vessels which supply our brains with oxygen and nutrients, or even natural mood fluctuations. We like to think that we have an identity, and based on who we are, we can make our important decisions and won't be disappointed afterwards. But how much exactly are our decisions under our control? And how much are they influenced by the fact that the vessel of our consciousness is so fragile that it is basically almost always struggling with at least one, or very often multiple, maintenance issues? When we decide to work on an important project, for example, how much of the 24 hours in a day can we actually do what we've decided to do? We need at least 8 hours of sleep if we want to be productive. Then we need some free time to relax if we want to keep our creativity. We need time to eat, time to go to the bathroom, and even if we completely ignore our household, we are only left with a couple of productive hours a day when our minds are sharp, we are not hungry or tired, and actually have some control over our actions. In 1926, Henry Ford, the man at the helm of the Ford Motor Company, shut down his 7-day automotive factories for 2 days a week, giving rise to the foundation of the 5-day work week in North America. He was one of the first people to recognize that we can be more productive if we stop ignoring our needs for both physical and mental recovery. Unfortunately, not a lot has changed in this direction. We discuss now and then that working long hours and eating unhealthy food is bad for our health. But how often do we discuss that if our brains don't have optimal conditions, they won't be able to function properly? How often do we discuss that people who make important decisions for everyone should be well rested, well conditioned, eat healthily, and do everything in their power to make sure that their brains are working optimally? I think one of the reasons that we avoid this discussion is that we like to pretend that we have more control over our thoughts and psyches than we actually do. The same way we like to pretend that we are very different from animals, even though our anatomy is sometimes so similar that a human can live with a transplanted pig's liver without noticing the difference. As usual, I want to share with you my vision of how we could evolve in the future. Besides the fact that we would probably have at least some connection to artificial intelligence, advanced technologies would allow us to maintain perfect conditions for our brains, having optimal sugar and oxygen levels all the time, optimal hormone and nutrient levels, perfect sleep and recovery. This process would probably allow us to reach levels of consciousness that we can now only dream of. The longest journey begins with a single step, and the first step in this journey is to stop ignoring our fragile nature and embrace it. We need to start learning about our flaws and to take them into consideration every time we make an important decision. We need to start optimizing all factors that could play a role in the way our brains function if we want to move forward in our evolution and achieve our dreams. If you want to help accelerate humanity's progress, Give your vote by liking and sharing this video. If it goes viral, maybe we can convince more people to stop ignoring their animal nature so that they can start optimizing their way of thinking and make better decisions about their own future and the future of everyone around them. Share your opinion below and subscribe for more future thoughts.